All right. We said today we're going to talk about dynamic shear stress. We're going to talk about a couple more fixturing issues. And then I want to answer any questions that you guys have on the group side of the stuff we do tonight. Also go through the discussion forum and go through answering or the answer for all the questions that are currently there. Talked about stress yesterday. Stress is what happens when we apply a force to something, right? So if we apply a force to something, stress happens. And if we apply a force to something and stress happens, what do we also know happens? Strain, right? So there is always stress and strain when we apply a force. The stress is the force over the area. The strain is the dimensional change that happens as a result of that stress. And if we plot the stress versus the strain, we'll plot that. We can get a line. All right, so we've got our stress, we've got our strain over here, and if we do some measurements with our material, we'll plot them. All right, so we've done an experiment, we've measured the elongation of different forces, different stresses. We get a curve like this, something like that, right? And so the slope in this region of the graph, so rise over run, right, equals the elastic modulus. The elastic modulus is, what kind of property is elastic modulus? Is this like a process variable? Machine operation? So unfortunately, our designer usually has to put the material. As the manufacturing engineer, we're usually stuck with the material the designer shows. Now, how do we fix that if we don't like the material the designer shows? Yeah, it's a good way to fire your customers, right? Is to give them a price that they don't want to pay. The other thing we can do, if we really like the customer, we don't want to get part of the material we chose. We can talk to them, have a conversation. It's actually amazing what can happen when you put the designers and manufacturing people in the same room and you let them talk to each other. And I know I have several incidents of this, but one guy is a great guy, who's actually his son is a freshman this year. But he took over as vice president of manufacturing for a mid-sized manufacturing company. And the first thing he did was he brought all the design people in the room, which part panels they're doing, brought the design people in the room, brought the manufacturing people in the room, and said, you guys have to talk to each other now. So manufacturing guys, what's the part that's hardest for you? They say, this feature on this part is the hardest thing for us to do. And the design guys say, oh, we don't need that feature. They didn't know it was hard to do, and so they saved hundreds of thousands of dollars a year by having a conversation. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we've got stress and strain, elastic modulus, is the bulk material property. It has a significant impact on our ability to manufacture the parts. What are the two primary things that we hear about that a lot of people for when we're making parts, manufacturing parts? Yes, Sean. So when we care, so you're looking at this point on the curve or the failure over here, right? So So yeah, we care about those things, but really kind of the designer cares about those things when they're designing the material. So when we're fixturing our part, right, we care about this elastic modulus because it's going to tell us how much that part's going to change shape due to the fixturing forces, right? And those fixturing forces, when we relax them, the part changes shape. There's a story about the F-22. That was a joint project between Boeing and Lockheed. Yeah, and so Boeing was doing the manufacturing on the wing spars. This is a part like 30 feet long, and made out of titanium, and then most of the material removal on it. And so they've got a special fixture that goes in, and they've got a ginormous milling machine to do machining because it travels. They do one machine. The machine travels along the part. And so they have this big guy named Joe. And so when they go to put it in the fixture, it doesn't always fit right. Right? They get Joe to stand on it, and then they tighten the clamps down. They'll be with a hammer over here, and they'll tighten the clamps down. And so they get in their fixture. They do all the machining operations. They take it out of the fixture, and what happens? It fits. Right? So the guy I did at Boeing, his job was to do then selectively treat different parts of it so that he could relax those residual stresses that were put in the material and have it come back to the right shape. He's like a genius in knowing if I heat this up at this rate, then cool it at this rate, it's going to perform like that. It's a pretty amazing thing that they have to do to take care of those kind of problems. But everybody experiences that. So we care about it there. The other place we care about it is right here. We're going to get some of these as that chip forms on the edge of the tool, we care about what's happening right here in the ring at the shear plane. Right along there, the chip is forming. And so the thing that we care about there is called the dynamic shear stress. What don't we like about dynamic shear stress? So as we're looking at this, as we're looking at our dynamic shear stress, we've got issues of all right, so what is dynamic shear stress? Well, first thing we don't like about it is the fact that the word dynamic there. It's not very steady state. It's hard to model as a dynamic. But what's going on in our dynamic shear stress? If you want to calculate the stress in that shear plane, where the material is actually deforming, what do we need to care about? What do you got it out? All right, so the things that we can adjust are feed and speed, right? So we can adjust the feed and speed. What else can we adjust? What we might care about there? Say again? The depth of cut. So we got feed, speed, depth of cut. Speed. So feed, speed, depth of cut, those are the parameters that we typically, you might want to caution with. You might want to look up and be careful where you sit. If the ceiling balance might collapse. At least behind you, pretty good. Feed, speed, depth of cut. What else might we care about?
One vacation. That's why. Discover your world at Atlantis. And now we
shearing as the chip forms. First, all right, so our part's rotating this way. The tool should be feeding in this direction, right? If the chip's forming on that right face of the tool, so what direction here is the shear direction? Somebody run down here and point to it. Well, I'll pick on somebody. You're closest. Run down here and show me where the shear is happening. What more fun you guys stand up and walk around? Right. So this is our shearing. It's happening right along that angle. And so if that's our shearing, we're applying our shear stress there then. So what's stress again? Force over area, right? So what's the force? Right, so we got a bunch of force systems that we can consider when we're looking at the shear formation. What's the force we care about? So the cutting force is lined up in this direction. FC is lined up in that direction. Our shear is in this direction. So I don't think we want the cutting force. No. Yeah, we name it the shear force because we're lazy about picking names, right? I like those zoologists that come up with all kinds of names. So we've got our shear force that's in this direction. So if we have a shear force, what other kind of force do we have to have? They all have to add together to that final resultant force, right? We call it the force normal to the shear. Again, we have these really invented names. We've got our shear force in this direction, and we've got our force normal to the shear in this direction. So we're looking at dynamic shear stress. So this is what I care about is the stress that's making that material move away. So which force are we looking at then? It could be either right? It could be either the shear force or it could be the force normal. Which one should we care about? Where our stress is making the material shear off. So we like the shear force, right? So if we've got our shear force, now what's the area that we care about? So it's the cross-sectional area of the chip, right? The area of that shear plane. Let's move on to the area of the shear plane. So how do I figure out the area of the shear plane? What do I need to know? So I need to know the width of the shear plane and what else? So in this example, it's the width of the workpiece, right? In the example where we're facing off the front of our part, like we saw in the video there, what's the width of that? So that's you're thinking this, right? Where you do a ridges on the part, you do it over. So that's the feed rate, and that will give us the uncut chip thickness. And so our feed rate will give us the uncut chip thickness. The width of the cut is this direction. So the width of the chip is this direction. All right, so we are in thickness and width. Our chip thickness is going to be related to the feed. Our width is going to be related to the depth of top. Okay? And so is that enough to give us area? Excellent. All right. So dynamic shear stress. That's all there is to it. You got to figure out the shear force, and you got to figure out the area of that chip, the cross-sectional area of the chip that is formed. All right. So concerns of fixturing. What are we concerned about in fixturing? That's entirely possible. I agree. You guys seen the wall of crashed parts downstairs in the lab? Almost every one of the crashed parts is crashed to the individual. So the problem with clamping tighter. When they get tighter, you break the part. Sorry. So, what happens every time we apply a force to an object? Stress, strain, and movement, right? Every time we apply a force to an object, we bend it. So in this example, if I've got my part in the lathe, and I'm spinning it here, and I'm holding it at the chuck, and I'm applying a force out here with my tool, what's happening? It's bending, right? We'd like to know how much it bends. We can calculate how much it bends if we know the elastic modulus of the material, the shape of the material, the amount of force we're applying to it. So the shape is, so it's I. Anybody tell me what I is? The area of moment of inertia. Each shape is going to have its own unique I value, right? For a round part like this, the I is going to be pi r cubed, or r to the fourth over 4. Sorry. So that's the I for our round parts. If you want to know I for a different shaped part, what are you going to do? Ask Google. Or you might look in a reference book too. Right, so as I'm doing this cutting operation now on my workpiece, so if we cut the outside diameter of the workpiece, the tool moves along like this, right? Is the part going to have the same diameter all the way along? So our tool path goes straight. The program did this way, it goes straight. Our tool path goes straight. What's the finished diameter of the part? Is it going to be the same at both ends? It will not be the same at both ends, right? So it will never be exactly the same no matter how right you did it. What we got. So I'm holding my part here in the chuck. Right? This is my workpiece material. The tool comes in over here, and it applies a force. What force should we use there? Cutting force, thrust force, shear force. Say again? Thrust force maybe, except, so but I like thrust force because you're thinking of that's what's keeping the tool against the workpiece, right? The thrust force is keeping the tool against the workpiece. I think some of the cutting force, though, might also be because of the rake angles, might also be lined up in a direction that will help push the part. So when I'm doing an estimate like this, is what I really want is the resultant force. We just assume that all of the force being applied to the workpiece is deflecting it. Because that's going to be a worst case scenario, right? So if you take that resultant force, that's going to be all of it. As we move along in this direction, does the force change? No, force stays the same, presumably, in steady state operation. But our equation for that deflection, so our deflection equals the force times the length to the third divided by 3 times the elastic modulus times I, and remember I equals I on to the fourth to the fourth. Right? So as we move along the workpiece, length is the length we care about is the distance from the support to where we're applying the force. So this is why it won't be the same diameter all the way along. In fact, it's a cube. So it impacts a lot. The part will either look like this when we're done, right? It will either be bigger at one end, or it will look like this when we're done, right? Which one will it be? Stand up if it's the blue part. Stand up if it's the black part. You just have to choose. Stand up if it's the black part. I'm looking when we can jump around and stand up. All right. You guys are standing. Let's stay standing. Stand up. All right. So you guys are committed to your choices, or you're just waiting to stand up. All right. So you like the blue part. Please, Xavier, tell me why you like the blue part. So as we deflect it, it bends this way, right? So as it bends down, my tool path is a straight line. Right? So I have bent it down like this. As I get closer and closer to the chuck over here, it will bend less and less. So my tool path is a straight line. And so if my tool path is a straight line and it's bent like this, then when I let go, it's going to come back to straight, right? And so it's going to be bigger the further away it is because that's where it has more deflection. So the part is bigger the further away it is. One of the questions said, we plot as a function of distance from the chuck, the diameter of the finished workpiece, right? And I know there's at least one discussion forum question about this, right? So what I want to see is the answer to that. Right, so distance to the chuck, the part diameter is going to be bigger than the tube diameter. This is the distance. It'll look like this, right? Because it won't be a straight line. This is the cubic function. Is that more clear now? Excellent. And so that way, if I tell you a distance from the chuck, Can you tell me the answer? So now that we know that, what can we do? Oh yeah, we always want to hold it. We always want to choke up on the bat as much as we can. We have as little amount of stock sticking out as possible. Now, what else does that apply to? We want as little tools sticking out as possible also. We want our tools to be as short as possible. We want our workpiece to be as short as possible. There's least chance for deflection. What else can we do? Yeah. I could have another piece over here. We call that the steady rest. And I can, it helps if you make a little, put a little drill hole in the center of the workpiece there. You drive that up against it with pressure. And if you get a good one, it spins, it's got a bearing in it. It doesn't have friction there. And so we can support the other end. Now what's our workpiece going to look like? Yeah, it's going to look more like this, right? I mean, I'm obviously exaggerating the drawing. But the longer the part is, the higher the cutting force. Right? So if we want less deflection, we can reduce cutting force. We can support it at the other end. So this is called a tailstock. The other thing we can do is we can want a steady rest. The steady rest actually is opposite the direct the tool, and it follows along. So you can actually support it right opposite where you're cutting it. So you can do that. So there's ways to get rid of this. If we didn't have a tailstock, if we didn't have a steady rest, what else could we do? We could change the tool path. So we could do our math to figure out how much it's going to deflect. And then we can have our tool path compensate for that. And you have to iterate to that solution because as you change, so that'll change the incremental depth, right? The depth of the path as you go. Which is going to change the force. So you might have to iterate to the solution. But you can actually make the straight part. You know, there's other risk here. If we would bend it like that, it wants to bend back. And although we call it steady state, there's dynamics going on. And so we'll actually set up a vibration in the part, and you know, with chatter on the part. And so some of you guys have had some chatter on your cylinder man. You see that? And it sounds like it's screaming when it's cutting. It's because it's screaming when it's cutting, it's chattering. So you'll hear that. All right, so we have our cantilever beam. And so this impacts us also in a milling machine when we clamp the part down here, they have it sticking up out of the vise. Right? So we're clamping it down here and like the cutting force up here, then it's going to have this impact also. But typically, in the milling machine, the way you arrange that clamping, you don't notice the deflection as much. But if you have a long tool sticking out of the tool holder, you notice the deflection of the tool. But the carbide tool also bends, and the tool holder bends, and the spindle bends. So all of that will change the dimension of your workpiece. That's all we need to go over now. Questions. Any other specific question? Did you go through the discussion form yet? Yeah, I think I realized today that there was no submission thing for that. So before we leave the room, we'll turn that on. Nick, do you have class right after this? Perfect. It's your job to make sure I don't walk out of the room without sending out submission back. Yes. Tonight at midnight. Is that going to work for you guys? Okay. If any member of your group, who's 4 people in a group, should be possible that every group has at least one member in this condition, and you would like to hand it in on Friday, let me know if you're going to hand it in on Friday, as long as at least one member of the group still has at least one. Remember the groups from the syllabus? You can hand it in any assignment today, as long as you tell me you're going to get late. So everybody gets one each. This way I don't have you telling me all your excuses of my alarm clock doesn't work, my dog ate it, like, I don't care what the reason is. I don't even know. Yes.
And then quiz three on the.
So hey, let's do 5 o'clock on Friday for that week. So the quiz 3 will be without the spreadsheet. I like to go through it. The intent is to finish the spreadsheet before we do the quiz.
And they want mine.
It's not there. Let's put it in around that.
According to our
Yeah. I thought I just had the project due tonight and it was going to be on Friday. That was my intent. If I said something different, I didn't mean to. My intent was to quiz it on Friday. No. Quiz is due Friday, regardless. But if you want to hand in your spreadsheet, then it's just one person who say they only do that. We guys can find out something. And there's not many people watching on the video, but you've already come to the video today. I'm only going on my hands and stuff. So as long as it's not a release, that won't go there. So you can run your we're back on audio. Some benefits you have class. Feel free to share that with your group members. All right, so any more questions or I'll go to the discussion forum. Yeah. That's one of the questions for the discussion forum. I'll wait for it when we get to there. So what it is, so in the year's handbook, we pull up the date for the year's handbook. The formula I posted in the notes is just more power and power we have. But what I give you power is the number. And so that is I think the parameter is P, right? So you want to look up for P from the type of that. Is there any, so you have to know the correct, like you use the right answer. And yes, there is a limit. I can find it on the so that's right after this thing. I don't know how to find that. Pretty funny how these are under everyone and then we find them. These are the same messages I want to stay on the other side. All right, so first one here was all right, question 9, you can claim here to the final. All right, so anybody remember what question 9 is? All of us is final question. So let me just question 9 right probably. This is the one we were just talking about, right? Okay. The question here in the thread is diameter. So I don't care which diameter you use as long as it's specific which diameter it was. the initial diameter, the final diameter, or the average diameter. The speed measures is one of those. Is that clear? As long as you know what you did, then if somebody specifically asks for the answer, then something else is not going to know. All right, so we cleared up what the function of the distance from the test was. So your answer should be a graph. Okay. And this question is off the written side. It's about reconfiguring the answers. I thought we would have to see the answers after you submitted them. So I will fix the setting in my API to make that happen. This is setting in my API to see that. Yeah, because you're using Excel spreadsheet to do the answer. So in the associated quiz question, will require you to graph. The associated quiz question will be the answer. But for the Excel spreadsheet, I'd like to see that.
Question number 9. Will it make the find the force of study?
Let's find it up again. So, what was our question on that again? Question 9. Right, negative power is spindle. All right, so in your question, what is the question?
We will try to find the force of study.
The cutting force.
Yeah.
FC.
And what is the measured power to the spindle? Is that the spinning power that goes to the study, or is it
So you're gonna have to take the key factor based on the spindle type to find out what the power of the platform is.
and this is by the formula?
Right. So, well, so there's the formula for posted, that's the power of the cut equals, and I know there's Q and K and some other parameters there that you look up, right? C and W. That's the power of the cut. You need to know the power of the cut in order to find out the cutting force. Because power of the cut times the surface speed equals the cutting force, right? Power equals cutting force times surface speed. There's all those words are in there. It's just not in that order. Right? So we need to know the power of the cut. We know the power of the spindle. Power of the spindle times E equals EC. So if you know E, you can know power of the cut. So it's all the frictional losses between the spindle and the tool. Yes. Just label your units yourself. Because if you need to, you're going to convert in order to do your training, you can convert.
Also, one exercise for work, you are looking at the dimension or any kind of problem that
all the dimensions of the workspace are known to you when you don't need to know
So question number 8.
Yeah.
You can figure out what will be the mass of the vector.
Question number 8. Given clamping force, it's electrical force squeezing the chuck jaws together. Friction coefficient between the chuck jaws and the part, spindle speed, and mass of the chuck. Has anybody in the class know what the mass of the chuck jaws? Yeah, so have you ever taken a weight on a string and spun it around, right? And so the chuck jaws are a weight on a string. And so the faster you spin, the more they want to keep going straight. So they're coming out, so you get that, what do we call it, centripetal acceleration? Centripetal acceleration is happening in the chuck jaws, that's why you need mass. So the faster you spin the spindle, the less effective clamping force you end up with on the workpiece. I have many times in the workpiece done outside of the shop. The chuck is finishing that.
So the maximum allowable cutting force would be.
So you've got your clamping force. So your maximum allowable cutting force without spinning the chuck would be equal to the clamping force. It's going to be reduced by that centripetal acceleration caused by the maximum jobs in the chemistry. Question 4. Or the cut. This is the tool we can evaluate. So I think we covered that at the end of the lecture yesterday. Right? I asked about this in class today. He said add it in and they go to the discussion. So you also need to written production form. Even information is not sufficient. We should also know the written production and all the problem. We have all of them from the discussion part, anything else? I can accelerate, I can